What's going on, folks? Good evening. I made it. Good evening, folks. Freddy Vazquez. This is Basement Politics Unfiltered. Tonight, ReZoning Yonkers. How has the rezoning here in the city of Yonkers impacted city residents? What is rezoning anyway? And why is it related to the Mike Cater lawsuit? Good evening, folks. I'm Freddy Vazquez. This is Basement Politics Unfiltered. I want to talk about that rezoning stuff at Ludlow, but talk about rezoning in general, right? What is rezoning? And I was told about an article in the Yonkers Times, and they're speaking about the Mike Cater lawsuit and, what he's talking about in there, right? In terms of Ludlow and, one of the reasons why he was attacked by this organization called a Committee for a Better Yonkers. So I want to read the article in the Times real quick so I can give a little bit of a background on that. So this is the area here, if you're not familiar with it, that's in the rezoning plan. So you see the red dot that goes around here, right? Now, this purple thing here is a piece of property, 132, that's mentioned in the Mike Cater lawsuit that is owned by a relative of the mayor, a Spano family member. And so they also, the lawsuit alleges that they stand to, make money. And so they should have disclosed that. Why are the city residents, taxpayers paying $500,000 for the study to do this rezoning stuff? And how much money are they, Spano's going to make when this all happens, right? They have a huge interest. There's a windfall. However, the argument that's coming from the administration Spano is that purple is the, property that they own, but it's not been rezoned or it's not being rezoned. But it's a bit confusing. It's in the study, but it's not being rezoned. But why is it being included in the study area, right? So if you look at the key there, the purple is a manufacturing, industrial, and warehousing. You see the red dotted thing, TOD, study area. Okay, so why is it being included? Former Yonkers City Council President Mike Cater has been silent and stayed out of Yonkers politics since losing, blah, 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 but recently has reappeared online in interviews with a defamation lawsuit he filed against several political figures and online bloggers. But a review of Cater's lawsuit finds that some of his key allegations are unfounded, and most of the claims are being called sour grapes and politically motivated. And so that's something that I mentioned in the interview I did with Mike Cater. If you didn't watch it, go check it out. They trying to say it's sour grapes, that he's bitter about losing last year to Lakeisha Collins Bellamy. But I mean, if someone did that to me, what was done to him, and I'm going to get up to that a little bit later on in the episode about, people bullying and being nasty and bringing in family members, it's a problem. That's not, just about being sour. I mean, they attacked his political career, they ended that, I should say, his reputation, his law practice, his family, what they went through. So it's not just sour grapes, right? And I think in doing that, they're trying to downplay it and, minimize his lawsuit. Cater has filed the lawsuit against Hezi, the publisher online, Mayor Spano, Republican City Council President Republican City Council President candidate Ron Matten, and several others. Cater states that all of the named defendants engaged in a conspiracy to intentionally and maliciously deprive, I think he meant, his civil rights and damage his future candidacy for future office, which is what's happening with the investigation that's still ongoing. And so if there's something there, then why haven't they announced it yet? Why hasn't a decision been made? It's been going on for a while. It's cost the city taxpayers a lot of money also. We want to know what's up. The big name in Cater's lawsuit is Mayor Mike Spano. Cater's lawsuit claims that the mayor and the Spano family rezoned an area in the Ludlow neighborhood of Southwest Yonkers for personal gain. And that's that purple area I was telling you about there, right here. And so, but a simple review of the zoning map showed that the property owned by the Spanos was not rezoned and is pictured above in purple. And where does that show that it was not rezoned? Cater is also suing a former client, Hezi Harris. He represented Hezi in the lawsuit against Keith Olsen, blah, blah, blah. But the comment that Matten made on the Yonkers Tribune relating to Cater was that the city council investigate the allegations made against Cater. Another post attributed to Matten was that Cater was using the law offices of Smith Bus Jacobs for his law office and campaign headquarters. We contacted Matten for a comment about being a named defendant and being accused of being a part of a conspiracy against Cater. Matten says, quote, I am accused of writing an article which my political opponent characterized as an unfavorable depiction. The reality is that I asked my opponent to defend himself ahead of his primary. My former opponent should review the definition of defamation as it applies to political contests, said Matten. But, you know, he that was a setup. That was a setup. They came to Ron. Here's the deal. Ron Matten wants District 5, right? So in order to, sail right in smoothly into District 5 next year, he made a deal. If the Democratic Party does not challenge him, right, he's a Republican, then he'll play ball. He'll write this article, and then he's the one that wrote the letter to the council seeking an investigation. And he did that because his political opponent, but he wasn't even his political opponent yet. The primaries hadn't happened yet, right? His political opponent ended up being Lakeisha Collins Bellamy, which he really didn't do anything to campaign really that hard or said anything really against her. Whatever happened to the, FOIL request, Ron? And did you ever get anything back in regards to how she was being paid? Because that was something that you kept mentioning, but you didn't write an article all about that or really truly go into that or ask the city council to investigate that, did you? I mean, that was actually your true political opponent. It wasn't Mike Cater, right? So, that's all hogwash. Cater appeared on Yonkers Voice September 28, talking about his political future. He says he will, be exploring stuff. But the political mistake that Cater made is in teasing out the possibility of running again with his recently filed lawsuit is that allegations made against Cater are still the subject of an investigation by the Yonkers Inspector General, Liam McLaughlin, right? And they're still investigating him. And as, I've said, and people saying they're just trying to keep him down. They don't want him running for mayor. That's what I believe. I believe this is all about keeping him down and also, getting him out because they do want to move forward with that Ludlow project. And if he does get in there as mayor next year, I mean, there's still a lot of time. They have to, do a lot of more stuff before they can actually start breaking ground, obviously, right? So he can get in there and put a whole stop to that. And that concerns the developers. And so that's what he's talking about, this plot that was, put together using developer money through the Committee for a Better Yonkers. Ron Matten in his letter to the council. The council then went to Liam. But not all the council are going to back this up. That's all I'm going to say. Not all the council are going to back this narrative up. So they may be in for a surprise when they try to say, oh, yeah, the council backed it up, right? Right. But the allegations against Cater and that he improperly used his office to benefit the law firm, that he used office space for his law practice remain open and unresolved. And those close to Cater admit that he cannot run for any office until those allegations and the IG's investigations are concluded, right? So there you go. That's saying, okay, if he doesn't have this allegation or this investigation cleared, that people are not going to vote for him, even though they may want to, but he has this investigation. So that's a good tool to use against him for anyone who doesn't want him to run, right? If the IG's report comes back with a viable criminal allegation, Cater could be the subject of the DA's investigation, Mimi Roca. Cater also briefly touches on two important facts in his lawsuits that are both damaging in his case and political future. First, that the majority of the city, that a majority on the city council calls for an investigation into allegations against Cater by a former staff member concerning fair and equal treatment of female employees in his office. And the Yonkers Democratic Party withdrew their endorsement of Cater once the allegations came out because they did about face. They withdrew their endorsement, but that was all planned too. These two reasons, Wilson Kimball is the, puppet master behind the city council presidency. And she is a big influencer in the Democratic Party here in Yonkers. These two reasons, the lack of support from his fellow council members and from Democratic Party in Yonkers, were the reasons to Cater demise and his council presidency. They were political decisions, not defamation. But see, this is the thing about Dan Murphy. You call yourself a journalist. You're the official newspaper, news source of the city of Yonkers. They give you everything. They pay you, right? So you're official. But you don't talk about the Committee for a Better Yonkers that he's also suing. Why not? I mean, that's a big part of the defamation case right there. So how are you going to dismiss the lawsuit and his allegations or claim of defamation without including the Committee for a Better Yonkers and what they did? How much did the developers donate to them? Dan, a lot of money. And where did a lot of that money go to? Printing up palm cards, negative ads, websites, online marketing that strictly was all attacking Cater. Robocalls that his wife got and his neighbors got. But you don't mention any of that in this article, and you completely dismiss the defamation part of this lawsuit. I mean, that's not real journalism, Dan. When News 12 reported on Cater's lawsuit, I reported on it, Dan, first. Mayor Mike Spano sent in a comment which read, "The property in question cannot be developed for residential purposes. The city remains committed to turning the rezoned property into a park in the only neighborhood in the city that doesn't have access to the Hudson River." Right. So I want to show you some again. So this is the area here. Right. So it's the dotted line, red dotted line is everything in there is the part of the TOD, the transit oriented development study area. The purple is the building there. That's a pretty nice piece of property that's owned by the Spanos there. I'm also hearing that 130 Fernbrook is owned by a man named Joe Cotter. Joe Cotter, he's buying up everything. That's the guy that bought up Leak and Watts property, which is not too far from there. So what are these guys really doing here? Right? We got to get ahead of it. As the people of the city, as city residents, we have to get ahead of it. We can't wait till it's too late before we realize it, and then we can't do nothing about it. What's the big plan here? What's the bigger picture? Not too far from there, they're going to be doing more movie studios. They're going to have the Syracuse, supposedly is going to be coming there. Supposedly they're going to have a high school there for the Yonkers Public School that will be 300 to 600 students for film. Right? But what's really the plan there? And you see all those homes there. I know some of the residents were concerned with, traffic, increasing, and it's going to increase a lot. You guys are going to be surrounded by all these developments. But guess what? Your property values are going to go up. That's great news, right? And you guys are going to eventually want to sell anyway. And that's probably what a lot of people are going to do there who own these homes right here. So at the very least, if that property is not developed, the one that the Spanos own, the value will increase. Right. So what is zoning? Zoning, I just want to go over that real quick. What is zoning? It's when they redesignate an area for a new or designate an area for a new purpose. And right now, the industrial Ludlow area is industrial, is the current zoning. They want to change to residential because they want to put 5-story luxury developments in that area. That's what they initially wanted 6, but the people, fought them on that, so they went down to 5. Right? They were concerned with the view of the Hudson, which will be, blocked. What must be done first? A person or developer has to file an application. Public hearings must be held. They must conduct studies, environmental studies, traffic studies, other studies, density studies, all kinds of studies to see the impact that it will have on the community around it. And then the city council reviews this, and then they vote to reach, to approve the rezoning, which they're going to do that. They don't even review anything. They just say, hey, this is what you guys are going to do on this date at the meeting. Okay, just make sure you say aye or yay or whatever. Yes, right? Because everything's being adopted 7-0-7-0. Who pays for it? Who pays for these studies? Well, that's an issue that's being brought up in the lawsuit, because according to the Mike Cater lawsuit, the city is paying for it. $500,000. They're paying for the traffic studies and all the environmental studies, but the city isn't benefiting, is it? Who truly is gaining here? And as I read some of this article that I found online, it's interesting about this. It talks about gains. Who gains? Well, even though that property is not going to be developed, or it's not rezoned, I should say, whatever they're saying here, it's going to appreciate in value. And if it's true what they say, that Joe Cotter owns 130 Fernbrook, maybe Joe Cotter's eyeing 132 to build a master development there. I mean, why not? You might as well, putting studios up all over the place, right? And Joe Cotter's also buying up a lot of Woodworth and Warburton. That guy's buying up everything. Where's he getting this money? Now, he's not the best developer, not the best work, right? And again, zoning also determines the value of the land. According to an article I read on the conversation.com, changes to zoning can provide windfall gains to some landowners, providing the incentive for collusion between politicians and landowners about which areas are favorably rezoned. And that is the basis of the Mike Cater allegation, that area is being rezoned, and that the Spanos, the administration, Mike Spano's brother, is benefiting from that, Spano family as well. And there may be more properties that they own in that area. And, people are saying, or sources are saying that they're still doing the homework, doing the research. And once they uncover those properties, they're going to make light of that as well, right? So the article goes on to say that an important economic question, therefore, is whether there is systematic favoritism in rezoning decisions, and if so, what can we do about it? What can we as a residents do? Right? Like my cup. V squad. This the article says to answer that question, you need statistical quantification of gains from rezoning decisions, along with the probabilities of rezoning success arising from relationships, donations, and lobbying. Does all three exist here in Yonkers? I think so, right? Does all three exist within the rezoning, the Ludlow rezoning? Yes, that's what Mike Cater is alleging in his lawsuit. One of the developers, Ginsburg, contributed to many of the elected officials, but they also donated to the Committee for Better Yonkers. The committee that Dan Murphy, for some reason, seems to leave out of his article there. The committee that spent most of that money that was donated to them by developers attacking Mike Cater, making all kinds of accusations, posting all kinds of pictures up of him that make him look like, some kind of gangster, some kind of real corrupt individual. I mean, they painted a picture well, this whole narrative. And so that they funded that. But also Smith Bus Jacob, the law firm that he was supposedly had been hooking up with a contract with the city for getting free office space, also donated to the Committee for Better Yonkers, right? So they were like, yo, what's up with that? How y'all gonna use us to take out Mike Cater when we donate to you guys? Right? We thought we were cool. Smith Bus Jacob donated $4,000 to the Committee for Better Yonkers, and their own money was used to throw them under the bus as well. And so the Smith Bus Jacobs, the law firm, wrote a letter to Liam McLaughlin. And this is another thing that I don't get. Why is it that if a law firm, the one that's actually involved with this, writes a letter to the Inspector General, Liam McLaughlin, and in that letter he says he was contacted by elected officials, and they were apologizing basically and saying that we had to do it because of political pressure. And why did they call and say that? Because Smith Bus Jacobs contributes monies to them. And they didn't want, they like, damn, it's kind of messed up. We want to keep getting their money, and we're sorry about that you're involved, right? So they called up and said, we're sorry, it was political pressure. So why isn't anyone investigating that? Why wasn't there an investigation open into that? Who were these elected officials that called him up? And who were the individuals that were putting this political pressure on them to, create this investigation, to launch this investigation into Mike Cater over allegations of quid quo pro involving Smith Bus Jacobs, right? So they were copping a plea, calling Smith Bus Jacobs up because they donated a lot of money. Man, $4,000, that's a lot of money, right? So Ginsburg, Joe Cotter, and the elected officials, right? So when they says relationships, donations, and lobbying, right, you have Ginsburg, you have Joe Cotter, and you have the elected officials who all have relationships. These developers have donated to their individual campaigns as well as to these political action committees. So they're all involved. They all have relationships. So, that's something that should be concerning, and we should really look into. And this is why Mike Cater wanted to pump the brakes a little bit. It makes sense, doesn't it? As a taxpayer, I mean, $500,000 so far of taxpayer money is going into this study where these developers are going to benefit, not the people. They're going to build a park, they say. Well, there's a lot of parks that you just need to restore. There's a park right up the street, O'Boyle Park. Fix it up, make it look nice. Why do we need to have another one? Oh, it has to be by the water, right? Because they're going to take away JFK Marina. So a study was done, right? In this article, they did a study in one area, a town there, to see how well connected landowners were. In their findings, this is very interesting. Well-connected landowners owned 75% of the rezoned land, indicating that decisions to rezone were driven by relationship networks. Is that the same? Is that true for Yonkers? Is the same true for Yonkers? The data collected in the study painted a picture or told a story that connected property developers bought land unsuitable for development at one point on the urban fringe or in low-income areas, communities, then lobbied state politicians and bureaucrats through their relationship networks to rezone areas where they own properties. It was about being part of the entrenched, well-connected political class. Again, is the same true for the city of Yonkers? Absolutely. I mean, you have this entrenched political class here in the city of Yonkers. I mean, I'm going to put them together, actually. I just thought about this the other day or yesterday. I said, I'm going to gather because it's the same individuals, the same ones at the flag raisings, at these little fundraisers, little gala things, right? They get all the best, locations at Riverfest. You know what I mean? It's the same small group. They get all the funding for their nonprofits. They get all the positions and appointments on boards. Their kids get this, their kids get that. It's time we identify who this cabal is. I call them the cabal, right? That's what they are. And they assure that they keep it for themselves. So according to the Times here, and the argument that's being made is that the Mike Spano's brother's property is not being rezoned. But why is it being included in the study area? And what area is actually being rezoned? I guess the different color ones, right? So these have been just rezoned. So you tell me they're just going to leave that a warehouse? I'm just saying, let's be honest. Come on. Let's just use common sense, right? Let's forget, let's just really use common sense. Do you think they're going to leave that as a warehouse? Is that just they're going to develop all these beautiful, then across the street, they're going to build this beautiful park, but this is going to be the beautiful park because right now that's all county bus. They own this land or lot or somebody. I don't know if they actually, and then this is where they're going to build the parkland, right? The waterfront park. So you tell me they're going to leave this warehouse right here, just like that across the street, and then there's going to be developments over here? I mean, I don't know. Maybe. It could be true. It could be true. It could be true. They're saying they're not going to sell it. They're not going to develop it. I don't know. It could be true. I just don't see that staying there like that. It just doesn't make sense. But hey, it could be true. So you have 2 and 3 family residentials represented by this, what is it, like a light orange, brownish, I don't know, peach, I don't know. Multi-family residential, mixed use. These would be mixed use, these light reddish things here. Public parks, right? O'Boyle. I don't know if that's going to be at Waterfront Park. It's going to be a lot of traffic here. Then you have the Domino Sugar Factory right here, right? That you have tractor trailers coming in this area all the time. So if this is all developed, right, into residentials, you're going to have other people coming out of here, the traffic, and then you're going to have tractor trailers whizzing by in front of their buildings. I mean, I was there not too long ago, and there were like 10 trucks in a matter of like 20 minutes that I was there. So, it's, I don't know. City dragging the investigation on and on because there is nothing there. If there was, we would know by now. But of course, the outside legal counsel firms hired by the city are costing the taxpayers over $500,000 so far. Wow. $500,000 to investigate a quid quo pro of $70,000, a contract that was worth $70,000. So really, the city's going to spend $500,000. And these lawyers, these outside counsel, they're going to drag their feet. They get paid by the hour, right? It's like I had a client very recently where the insurance company hired an attorney to investigate the way the fire happened because they were blaming them and it wasn't their fault, but whatever. But it was taking forever. And I told the insurance company, really, you guys are going to end up having to pay more for the damages that occur as the house sits. And you're paying this attorney more for no reason. He's dragging his feet. That's what they do, right? So why are we allowing this to happen? Why are taxpayers' money going to just continue? And that's a political witch hunt. So when they talk about political, doing things for political reasons. That's what that is. I believe in my eyes. And so I decided to kind of like remap it. Oh no, where did my remapping go? I don't know. Well, I drew a remap here where I left this out to show you what their argument was. So again, this is the area in question right here. This is the property here. That's going to stay industrial. Actually, I think this is 132 and this is 130. And I believe this might be owned by Joe Carter. And this is 132 is owned by Spano Fan. But so that's going to stay industrial while this beautiful park here. Joe Carter has no plans of making something big there. I don't think so. Come on. I don't think so. Just be honest. I mean, it's all cool. Just be real. Just be honest. I ain't going to be mad. You know what I mean? I ain't going to be mad. Why would I be mad? Right? Rezoning carries opportunities and risk for low-income seniors and all folks who are on fixed income, low-income folks. People are being pushed out, right? So they're condemning buildings also, right? And people who live in them are having to be evicted. And this is happening currently. And what's sad is that we're approaching the holidays, Thanksgiving, Christmas, weather's getting colder, and people are being pushed out. I shared a letter on my page that's going out to people, saying, are you interested? Hey, homeowner on Orchard, are you interested? It was from 117 Orchard. Want to sell your home? We can close in 30 days, right? We've been very successful with other home purchases and transactions that have happened. So they're buying things up. And I showed you the property at 87 or 78, I should say, Orchard, that was condemned. People were pushed out recently. And then they're doing work in it while it's condemned. Right. So they have inside information. They give money to people on the inside, folks. It's not okay. And that's and again, it's not about redeveloping or beautifying the area or improving it or making necessary changes. I'm for that. I'm for progress. It's just, how is that progress done? Right. And it seems like what is going to happen is a complete change of the demographic. And that's not okay with me. And they don't care with people having to be pushed down and going to other states. Really, they're not going to go to other neighborhoods here in Yonkers. They're going to go to other states. Public meeting around the community speaks out against rezoning proposals. Now, again, this is happening throughout the country, folks. This is nothing new because these developers, and like it said here, when they have lobbied, politicians, they've done this at the federal level. So now the government is unleashing billions of dollars for all this mixed use development. That's what they're calling it, mixed use development. That's not unique to Yonkers. When you hear our elected officials talk about mixed use, that's not unique to them, right? It's all a script almost. It's a script. If I had the time, I would show you people, elected officials from different cities here throughout the country, almost saying the same exact thing when they talk about this. It's a real plot that I don't want to get too conspiratorial on here, but it's really all connected. It truly is. How can I stop the city from rezoning my neighborhood? People are really not wanting this to happen throughout the country. Again, it's not good for the average person. For the luxury developers, great. For the politicians making money, it's great, right? And for those seeking, luxury apartments outside of maybe, New York City, more crowded area, or what they believe to be a higher crime area, it's good for them. And it's a little less for them, these higher income earners, right? And that's what they're ultimately happening. And people are telling me, people in the community are calling me and telling me about illegal apartments and stuff like that in their buildings and all that, right? People are concerned. They're being forced into these illegal apartments because they can't find other apartments that are affordable. And so they have to rent out this basement apartment with no windows, like I saw a couple of days ago. Someone took me to a building, no windows, one way in and one way out. And it's an apartment, so God forbid, may the Lord protect that individual. So that's pretty much what I wanted to talk about in terms of the rezoning. Ginsburg is one of the developers again. They have funded a lot of the elected officials that are sitting in office now. Specifically, they funded the Community for Better Yonkers. Basically, that organization is a developer-funded political action committee that wants to make Yonkers better. But that better means to redevelop it with luxury rentals, push people out, shrink down the size of the population of folks who need affordable housing. That's how they're going to deal with the crisis. We're not going to build more affordable housing. We're going to shrink down the population of those who need it. That's a better idea, right? And then we're going to build a lot more developments, luxury developments, studios, movie studios, and all that stuff. But there's a lot of bait and switch going on. And so I don't think the people of the Ludlow area truly understand what's really going to happen there. I mean, she came in, Ruth Montgomery, and said, I just want you guys to make sure that you try to keep the construction noise level, to a minimum, keep it down, and that the traffic doesn't get too crazy. That's what she's saying. Okay, they're gonna promise you that. Sure thing. It's not. It's not gonna happen. It's crazy all over. It's gonna be loud, and it's gonna really be disruptive, and it's gonna cause a lot of changes. But guess what? Maybe your home values will go up, and you can sell and get out of Yonkers, right? That's what they're hoping for. It's really what they want. And so, folks, that's my thing on rezoning. But it's important that we understand what rezoning is. They're basically changing the zoning laws, and I truly believe that there is, and this is outside of the Mike Cater lawsuit, there is some plot to do this, right? You've seen the removal and the changing of the building commissioner. We've seen the removal of people in the zoning board without even being notified, replaced with inexperienced individuals. One of the guys is 21 years old. He's the son of an investor here in Yonkers. He replaced, seasoned zoning board members who were doing this for free for 30 years. Then they kind of pushed out the chairman, gave him a nice little retirement thing up in City Hall, and made Wilson Kimball chair of the Zoning Board of Appeals. She is also CEO of Macy, where she's working to, help shrink that population of those who live in low income and affordable housing by simply removing people in the name of renovating these buildings and then getting completely new people in, shifting and organizing or redoing the whole waiting list through a lottery. People who have been waiting are no longer on because they weren't, lucky enough to get their name called in this new lottery that they did. She, along with the city council president. So people are just like, what the hell's going on? What's going on? Right? So they're not building more affordable housing. They just renovated mostly what they had. They built a few, and they have very minimal apartments. The new one on Main Street is going to have 76 units. Right? I don't think they ever reach 80 or more units, really, or 100 units when they do affordable. And they don't even give them enough parking spaces, right? So that's what's happening. Putting these people in these different departments, building apartments so they can go and condemn buildings, get them out. One of these real estate investors that came along with the big developers goes in, buys it up, repairs it while it's condemned. Then they work out to get the new CFO, and then they rent it at a higher rent, or they sell it to some yuppies that are coming in. That's what's happening. That's the plan. Rearrange the zoning board, get everything approved. The council is all bought and paid for. They're rubber stampers. They're going along with everything. They're going to go and rezone 21 Scarsdale to put a residential building that will have 150 units where the old Hudson Valley Bank was over in District 5. So it's not going to be just limited to the Southwest side. And this is why it's important. Those on the East side understand that it's coming to you as well. A lot of rezoning is going to happen over there. And you guys are not going to like it. You're going to be very upset about it. So it's time to start speaking up and think about who you guys are going to vote next year. Right. And that's why Breen is always talking about, I'm for rezoning, these areas were industrial, they're zoned industrial, but well, we all know that the industrial age is over. Right. And I'm all for term elimination. So he's putting it out there, Breen. He knows which side of the bread, what is it, buttered on, right? Or whatever, however that's saying. Right. He doesn't bite the hand that feeds him. He knows what he has to do. So he's doing his job, right? He wants to make sure somehow, somewhere I land on my feet after next year. Ain't that right, Bree? Not on his belly, folks. Anyway, before I leave, listen, I posted a picture of cigars and whatever, and individuals like Zahi Jerris were there. Someone that was convicted of bribery, extortion of political officials. He got Sandy Annabi, the former majority leader of the Yonkers City Council, sent to prison. He went to jail for 4 years for the whole Ridge Hill real estate scandal thing. And once he got out, he was the former Republican chairman of the Republican Party. When he got out of prison, he infiltrated the Democratic Party, the Yonkers Democratic Party. And I'm sure the Caters kicked themselves in the ass because they kind of brought this guy in. They're the ones. I mean, he was their family member, right? You want to give family a second chance. You want to believe it. I mean, Hell, everybody in the Yonkers Democratic Committee and all the elected officials, including judges, currently say he deserves a second chance. So why wouldn't his own blood say he deserves a second chance, right? And so he did. He got in, and now he's taken over. He's got a good hold on it. And so he was at this fundraiser, right? Although Michael Edelman, a political analyst long ago, said that no elected officials or any public official or anyone, you know, with working for a city or anything like that, judges or whatever, should be around this guy because of his reputation and what he was convicted for. He got Sandy Anabi to change her vote on the Ridge Hill project thing, development deal. But guess what? Tasha Diaz changed her vote on the affordable housing thing, helping developers. It's very similar to the Sandy Anabi incident. And guess who's behind Tasha Diaz? Mr. Zahi Jeris. And in fact, in the photo that I posted, you can see Tasha Diaz in between Zahi Jeris and Nader Sage, all having cigars in a smoke-filled room, plotting and celebrating all their accomplishments. Why is this individual allowed to mix and mingle with these politicians if he's known for corrupting elected officials? Many people have been wondering since the day Tasha Diaz flip-flopped on the housing, why did she do it? And if this individual is that close to her, funding her, has said out of his own mouth he has a certain affection for her, right? How can we trust this Tasha Diaz majority leader? I mean, it's eerily similar. And that is why I posted the picture, because it's important to see that. Can we trust elected officials who engage and involve themselves with individuals who are known to be corrupt, have been convicted multiple times? And there have been actions taken by our elected officials currently or recently that are questionable. And Zahi Jeris being right next to them in a fundraiser or at a fundraiser just adds to that, suspicion in my eyes. I mean, how is this allowed? How is this okay? So I posted that picture, and listen, I wasn't so nice when I posted it, but you guys have not been nice to me, right? I find it interesting that when I post some things, people question it. Same few people, right? Like they like to say, same few people, but they never question their friends when they make these disgusting posts about me or my wife. They post her pictures. They accuse us of things as disgusting as child pornography and all these other things. I have a business. They try to hurt my business that I, work with children, right? That's their goal. I mean, they're completely fabricating things, right? And so I put out the truth. I put out real information, even if that includes information in regards to infidelity. Well, if you want to go there, then don't be mad at me when I go there. At least, I'm telling the truth, right? At the very least, I'm being honest. So Jeffrey Meyer, who decided to comment on my post, and I think he was more upset about the fact that I wanted him to admit that even if Tasha Diaz was not reelected, that he would not stop the food distribution for the people, that this was not political. Because according to my sources, he started doing it here in Yonkers because of Tasha Diaz. He's tied into Zahi Jeris and other individuals that I won't name, just to keep them out. And I'm not talking about Spanos, I'm talking about some judges that he's tied to that did this to help Tasha make her look good. Here, work with Tasha, do the food distribution from Jeffrey Meyer's church and pantry. And that's a great thing you do, Jeffrey, but it's politically motivated and it's being used politically to influence people in their decision making when it comes time to vote. And that's not okay because they're being influenced in the wrong way. This woman wanted to help people, then she would have voted to bring more affordable housing to the city of Yonkers because that is a crisis. That is a huge crisis. And guess what? Feeding Westchester would be taking care of food distribution. And so would you, wouldn't you? Even if she wasn't there, if she was more focused on increasing affordable housing here in the city of Yonkers and not having the people pushed out. It's a bait and switch. It's smoke and mirrors, Jeffrey. And so I said that, please let the people know. Is it true? Right? If she's not reelected next year, will the food distribution stop? I told the people it won't. It will continue. I just wanted you to confirm. Was that what upset you? Is that why you made your comment on my post about something that had nothing to do with you? Or maybe you were there. I don't know. I don't know if I know what you look like, but I wasn't talking about you, right? So, Jeffrey, have you ever said anything to any of the individuals who have said disgusting things about me and my wife, or London Ray's and his wife, or those individuals who attacked Mike Cater and his wife and family? Have you ever said anything to them, Jeffrey? Have you ever told them that that was disgusting, that was slimy? Because the individual that has done that and that has ordered that and that has paid for that was in the picture that I posted there. So you can say, hey, Zahi, that's not nice. That was slimy. That was every other word that you use. And I don't need your phone number, Jeffrey, because if I wanted to call you, I would call you. I wouldn't ask for your phone number. I can get that. And if I had a problem with you, I would come talk to you. I wouldn't call you. All right? So stop with the nonsense. Stop with the nonsense. I'm here to help the people of Yonkers. Are you from Yonkers, Jeffrey? Are you even from Yonkers? I'm here for the folks of Yonkers who are being taken advantage of by corrupt individuals. And I'm giving the information that needs to be put out there. These are not nice people. They have done the most disgusting things to people. And I'm supposed to be nice? I mean, people are afraid. Why are people afraid of these individuals? I had someone, again, pull up to me yesterday to thank me and tell me to keep doing what I'm doing. And he's a stranger because I never got the name. Refused to give the name. People don't want to say anything and have anyone know that they said it. They're that afraid. Why, Jeffrey? So who's the one that you should be talking to? Why are people afraid of these individuals? I'm not afraid. That's what it is, Jeffrey. I'm Freddy Vazquez. This is Basement Politics Unfiltered, folks. You got to keep it real. They don't like that. Great review. Thank you. So they're going to come at me with all types of nonsense. They talk disgusting things about my wife, who's an amazing individual. And I'm going to show you what she's been doing. She don't want me to talk about it just yet, but she's doing some great things, right? And that's what we've been trying to do here. And these individuals are upset because I'm speaking truth. And people are starting to be aware of the podcast, and it's growing. And so they send individuals like this to make these comments. I'm not upset so much about what you said in the comment. I just don't understand why is it that you feel the need to say something to me, yet you don't say anything to your buddies who are way more disgusting than I will ever be. And they've attacked a lot of people's wives for absolutely no reason. So, Jeffrey, just continue doing what you do with the food. I appreciate that. Okay? Thank you. I am being nice. Why I gotta be nice? Why is it that these individuals could be nasty and I gotta be nice? I mean, do you know what these people have done to not just me, but to other people? People are scared. Are scared. I mean, the things that they've done, the money that they've paid. Don't worry, Freddie. We'll be supporting good candidates next year that want to make Yonkers a better place. LOL. No charitable religious should be politicized. No, the gloves have to come off. Thank you, Carolyn. The administration has no conscience in punishing seniors, citizens for fighting for their rights. Exactly. Look what they're doing to the seniors over there at the Bernice Breckman Center. Time to show the public a full picture of the reality behind the veil. Like the mayor and his taxpayer-paid mistress and Vinny and his countless women. Oh, they made Cuomo look like an altar boy. Pictures to follow. Well, please, let's start showing some pictures and some real evidence so we can shut these individuals up. Okay, because I'm getting tired of the nonsense, that they're commenting. They're being such hypocrites. I mean, that's hypocritical. I mean, these people are blasting my wife's picture on their silly pages, Yonkers Voice and Yonkers Newswire, right? And they're making all kinds of silly comments about me on the Tribune, which is fine. But, don't dish it if you can't take it. That's all I'm saying. If you can't take it, don't dish it if you cannot take it. And unfortunately, in order for us to make progress with certain individuals, as Carolyn said, the gloves have to come off. We have to now fight fire with fire. The days of being a nice guy are over. As they say, nice guys finish last. Mike Cater learned the hard way. I'm Freddy Vazquez. This is Basement Politics. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for supporting. I appreciate it. Thank you, folks. Thank you, man. But I just had to say what I had to say, Jeff. Any other questions, comments, or concerns? Anything? Again, if I have a problem, I'm not going to call you. I don't argue on the phone. I don't go back and forth on the phone. That's the stupidest thing ever. Right? And I'm not looking for a problem with you, Jeffrey. I think you're looking for a problem with me, though. Folks, be blessed. Be well. What I mean. Freddy Vazquez gets under people's skin with the truth, but it shall set you free. Anything I said there was a lie, Jeffrey? You may not like it. It may be disgusting, but is it a lie? Is it a lie, Jeffrey? Jeffrey, is it a lie? Is it a lie? Is it a lie?
I was raised in housing. I don't think you were.
You're watching Basement Politics with my dad, Freddy Vazquez. You're watching Basement Politics with my dad, Freddy Vazquez.
Is it a lie? Is it a lie?
What is that sweet spot? We're going to leave it where it is. Let's vote on this. Let's get it popping. Like I said, political games that are being played. I was raised in housing. I don't think you were. I went to Yonkers public schools. I don't think you did. We can go on all night with this, honey. I was raised in housing. I don't think you were.
She was raised in housing, and she killed the housing ordinance. You should have the most empathy out of everyone in the council if you said you were raised in housing. You don't think they were in that meeting that day. But why did you not follow through, Tasha Diaz? You let a lot of people down, and people are being evicted. People are having trouble finding affordable places to live. People rent are going up, and they're having to move, relocate, especially during the holidays. It's going to get worse. And you and the rest of the super majority that you guys were so happy to have did that.
Thank you for watching Basement Politics with my husband, Freddy Vazquez.
That's my wife right there. Love her. So if you want to talk about the wives, then I'm going to do that. You are far more mature than... No, I know. But unfortunately, sometimes you have to get in the mud. You have to get dirty. But it's okay, because you come out the mud, you rinse off, clean yourself off, and you start shining again. That's right, the truth comes out in the wash along with the mud. Johnny, all raking in the money falling from the trees. That's what I'm saying. I mean, what's being done for affordable housing? They haven't proposed anything that's beneficial to the people of Yonkers. Nothing in terms of affordable housing. What about the educational system? What have they done in terms of our school district and improving the schools, the infrastructure, the quality of the education, the overcrowding, the busing, the transportation? UPK, they still don't have enough money. How is that? They bragging about all this money they brought, yet they ran out of money for UPK this year. What about your taxes, folks? Are they continuing to go up? And what are you getting exactly for those taxes? I mean, not good schools. The roads suck. I mean, what are you getting for these taxes that go up? So what have they done? Like, seriously, please, I am begging you. I am begging anyone. Give me one thing that each has done to improve this city for the residents and not themselves nor the developers. Please stop talking crap in your comment sections. Stop bringing up my wife. Stop bringing up London Reyes. Stop bringing up the Caters. What have you done? What legislation? Whatever happened to the slumlord registry? You can never do that. Too many prominent people would be on that list. That's why that never went anywhere. What have you done? So folks, ask yourself that question. What have they done for the people of Yonkers that has truly improved them, their lives, their community? And let me know, because I'm still trying to answer it. I'm Freddy Vazquez. This is Basement Politics. I'm just keeping it honest, man. I'm keeping it unfiltered, and they don't like that. You love me or you hate me. Either way, it's okay. I'm good with that. But I gotta keep it honest. I gotta keep it real. I gotta tell it to you like it is, the truth. What have they done? Nothing. Zero. Folks, what you guys need here in the city, affordable housing, right? How many people have had to move because of their rent too high? How many people? How many people's rent is too high? How many people that recently were told by their landlord that their rent's going up? How many people have had their buildings sold recently and had to move? What about your kids' school? How many people's IEPs are all screwed up? How many people in the city of Yonkers who have kids in the public schools cannot get the appropriate services? What about the seniors? Why are they having such trouble over there at the Bernice Breckman Center? What about the homeowners and your taxes? What are you getting for that? Are you sending your kids to the Yonkers public schools? Or do you take them out and put them in Catholic school or another private school because the schools are just not good enough for you? And yet you're still paying these high taxes and your water bill. And what about our utilities? Have we saved? Whatever happened to that sustainable Westchester crap they promoted to us? How did that go? You have to start thinking about these things, folks. You need to start looking into the Richmond Children's Center. They fired the entire staff a few years ago when money went missing. Guess which panels are involved in that? I don't know, man. That's like with CSCA. A lot of the money went missing that the members had paid into their dues from the bank account. And according to the current CSCA 9169 president, Alberto Vazquez, the former administration president, had something to do with that. The people get shafted. CSCA is still yet to get their retro checks. Shafted. Folks, think about this. What is there for the kids? What about your children? What's there for them? What's going on with the crime? A lot of robberies, a lot of theft, cars being broken into, Cadillac converters being stolen, fentanyl overdoses that they're keeping under hush-hush. And the friends and family network folks who are harming our children. City employees connected to the family and friends hookup network, hurting our young people in the city of Yonkers. It's time it stops, man. I'm Freddy Vazquez. Let's keep it honest. What have they done? One thing, that's all I ask.
Freddy wins. Fatality.
No! One thing, folks.